Big news, great news, happy day. Jackson Shelstad is back. This is the first known commodity that we now have to plan for Dana Altman's squad next year. And that's a non-zero. Look, I wasn't anticipating that Shelstad would go to the NBA draft. He's a little small. He's got plenty of NBA traits. 3-level scorer, a lot of range for a point guard. Really quick. I mean, really, really quick. I think he can make it to the NBA one day. I hope he stays at Oregon for 4 years. We're going to get at least a third season out of him. And this is a guy who was third team All Big Ten, was a preseason All Big Ten selection, lived up to the hype, shot the 3-ball better this season than he did last year, which is crazy because for about the first month of the year, he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn from beyond the arc. And then Big Ten play started where you'd think, oh, well, you don't have any of those non-conference cupcakes. Now your stats are going to go down. No, his stats got better when Big Ten conference play began. I am more than a little excited that he's back because I wasn't worried. The thought was in the back of my mind, he could declare if Biddle goes to the NBA draft, we're still waiting to hear, and I'll get to him more in a moment. I thought, man, what if Shelstad were to go? Then you'd really be in a tough spot. But I think this is big for the recruiting that Oregon is currently doing, not as much from the high school ranks necessarily, but from the transfer portal. You know, I think when you're going out and adding transfers, this is true in football when, you know, you bring in a wide receiver probably wants to know, well, who's the quarterback going to be? You know, who's getting me the football? In basketball, guys want to know, who am I going to play with? What kind of team am I going into? That's one of the reasons that, you know, TJ Bamba and Brandon Angel came over last year is, number one, their familiarity with Dana Altman and the program he runs. But number two was, hey, I think this is a good team. And what do you know? They were a really good team. Unfortunately, lost in the second round to Arizona in a game that they very easily could have won. Now, would they have beaten Duke? I don't know, but I would have liked to see him give him a shot. So Shelstad coming back off a season where he scored almost 14 points a game, shot it well from deep, about 36, 37%. I look at what he did this past year, and I was thrilled with what he was exactly what I expected him to be. A guy who can score inside, outside, fast break, get hot from three. You know, I'm an old school 2K player. None of the new, I haven't played 2K, NBA 2K in a long time because it just stopped being a good game a while ago, unfortunately. I love playing as a kid. Anyway, one thing they introduced in like 2K12 were these attributes, you know, that certain players had. Jackson Shelstad has the microwave attribute. Once he gets hot, now does he disappear sometimes? Yep, no player is perfect. But when Jackson Shelstad gets hot, I expect every shot to go down. And the number of guards who are his size in college basketball who can shoot 45% from the field, it's few and far between. And he did it in the Pac-12 as a freshman. He did it in the Big Ten. This is a guy who I think took a step forward playing in a better basketball conference and can absolutely take another step forward as well. Frankly, I think it comes down to his mentality of, I got to score more. I need to have the ball in my hands as often as possible. I think that's way number one he can improve. Number two, I think he's got way more in the tank as a passer. He's a score-first point guard. Nothing wrong with that. I think Shelstad is a high-end, capable passer who averaged less than 3 assists per game last year. He only had 5 or more assists in a game 5 times last year. That's a really low number. Now, I do think a contributing factor to that is TJ Bamba wasn't able to shoot threes. So instead of having 4 guys on the court that could hit a 3 when you drive, you only had 3. But again, I think that his ability to be a playmaker for his teammates can and will improve. I think it got a little better year 1 to year 2. The numbers weren't that different, but I think that area of his game can take a step forward. But he works at the defensive end, even though he's small. He's active. He creates steals. He gets out in transition. He finishes with both hands. He's a tough shot maker. Like, this guy has lived up to the billing, and it's awesome that, you know, even though I'm a Lake Oswego guy, so Westland is one of those things. But it's awesome that he is an Oregon high school guy and that he is this good, and he has, from the moment he stepped on campus, lived up to the bill. The clutch gene, it's all been there. So Shelstad coming back is huge, and being able to go to guys in the portal and say, hey, we've got our all Big Ten point guard coming back for his third season. You know why he's coming back? Because he knows what I'm telling you. We can make a run in the NCAA tournament. We've got the ability. They played great teams this past year. They beat a bunch of them. Maryland, Sweet 16 team. Oregon beat them. Alabama, Elite 8 team. Oregon beat them. Texas A&M, round of 32. Oregon beat them. Wisconsin, round of 32. Oregon beat them. They had one of the best resumes in the entire country. They hit a dry spell. Then they got hot. Dana Altman still knows how to coach, but he's got to have the guys. And Jackson Shelstad is a guy. So that's a great piece of news. Now, what that means for Oregon is they can go out and get guys with the pitch. Hey, Jackson Shelstad's coming back. You want to go play with that guy? You want to have him taking the big shot late? If you're not a, big shot sort of guy, like if you're going to find a role player, hey, you're going to love playing with this guy because he's going to be able to get you the ball and he's also going to help us win games, which is what people want to do more than anything. But now I turn to Nate Biddle as the next biggest piece for Oregon to announce his return or potential departure. And KJ Evans, I feel solid. I'll say like 70% solid. KJ Evans comes back. He would not go to the NBA. No way he's ready for that. He could hit the portal if someone else offers him maybe more playing time or more offense. I think he is ready to be Oregon's starting power forward. And I very much want to have a starting core for this Oregon basketball team next year that is Jackson Shelstad at point, KJ Evans at the 4, Nate Biddle at the 5. Biddle is more important to bring back than Evans, but you really want both. You do not want to be in a position where you only bring one back and suddenly you have to go out and find basically 3 bigs, at least 2, maybe 3. Because if you lost Biddle, you'd have to replace him. That's 1. Supreme Cook has gone off the bench. That's 2. Maybe they'd have another one in the fold. Maybe they wouldn't, right? I mean, you lost Brandon Angel as well. So Oregon had a 4-big rotation this year. I thought Dana Altman was masterful in the way that he orchestrated those substitutions. Felt like he always had the right guys playing on the court and the way he would mix and match. Sometimes it was Angel and Cook or Evans and Biddle. Evans and Biddle were kind of the guys late in the game, which is why I think they'll be the starting tandem. I want them to be the starting tandem next year because they have that chemistry between the two of them already with Shelstad too. But they've brought in Devon Pryor, the small forward from Texas. I don't really know what to expect from him because he hasn't been a big scorer or a big player so far yet in his career. But the Shelstad news is massive. Biddle next. That's where my head went. Great. Get Nate Biddle to come back for his last season in college back. Go get the NIL dollars you need. Get him to stay here. Get him in the weight room so he doesn't get pushed around by bigger guys as much. And you have got a big expectation season loading, and you have an even better core of players to pitch to other guys in the transfer portal. Like, hey, look at what we're building. We're bringing back our 2 most important guys, our 2 leading scorers, and that team went to the round of 32, and they were that close to going to the Sweet 16. So, great news on Shelstad. Hopefully more comes along the way. There's going to be a lot of basketball news that rolls in here in the coming weeks. Appreciate everyone listening. I will see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and go Ducks.